Alright, now that we've got our Pandora's box wired up and kind of working, I think that the next step here is going to be to remove this old PCB and get the Pandora's box mounted in here. So the first thing I think I need to do is there is a large mold. Oh, okay. This is mounted kind of wonky. Well, we can deal with that. But we need to get this huge roll excavator off the end of that board. But you know what may make more sense given how wonky everything is at the moment to just unscrew this board from this board and take the mold connector off once this is off. Alright, that's one screw down. On that lower left corner, obviously. So we should only have one more screw left. Then we can pop this baby out. Smaller than the others. Okay. How to get this connector off? Okay, it's in chunks, so that's not too bad. See if there's any sort of collector's community for this board, because obviously I'm not keeping it. But I don't know if there are any video poker collectors out there who could use this. Oh, I think. Whew. There we go. Ooh, old and dusty, but as of the last check, fully functional. Alright. Now, start dealing with all of these wires. So we need to figure out the main thing I need to be careful of here, as far as I can tell, is that I don't want to disconnect any wires that are associated with the speakers, the power switch, or the monitor. That would be no good. So, let's see here. So these wires here are definitely feeding the power supply, so we don't want to touch any of those. But think the first step is going to be, so what are these switches here? I'm not really sure. They might be test mode switches or something. But I think what I'm going to do is grab some scissors. Or actually, I see here. Okay, so there are some wire straps here. I think they're flathead. But that would actually be pretty good if there were wire straps, because we can use one of those wire straps to secure the power cable here at the back. Because I was wanting something to kind of secure that down so it doesn't pull or anything. It might be able to reuse these. What the heck is going on here? There we go. The main issue is that this piece of wood, this piece here, this screw is really long. And so clearly they didn't want to screw it all the way through, because then you would poke through the side of the cabinet. But alternately, it is making this really difficult to get these screws out. Alright. What are we going to do? Let me grab a flashlight. Oh, let's see what we see here. They're definitely flathead screws. It just really does not like me trying to take them off. Bump my head. Alright. So I would like to leave this piece of wood in here. It's got these power cables stapled down to it. It's a pretty decent board. It's also got screw holes here that would probably be better for mounting it, that I can use at a later date. But it's a nice setup for mounting the board to, so I'd rather not lose it. Alright, let me grab some scissors and we're going to start clipping some of these wire bundles. That'll make it easier. This big bundle here is connected here and here. So if I just snip those wire ties, should be pulled away from the board and start. Yeah, there we go. 1, 2. Alright, now we should. Yep. Didn't get the right one down there. Of power leads, so these had been plugged in to the switching power unit, switching power supply. He was a little involved in running the game board, because I know once I disconnected them, nothing else is having any issues functioning. So, that is the case. Really, anything that you go to is unnecessary. And we can get rid of it all, in theory. So, this looks, all of this here, this fuse and all of that, seems to just be involved in taking the power from the switching power supply and converting it into whatever the board needs. So, if that's the case, all of that circuitry should be able to be removed. This clearly is the wire bundle that runs up to the control panel. So let's see here. I start to separate this from this other bundle. I must say, whoever set this thing up from the video poker did a really, aside from all this massive wires, did a really nice job bundling and keeping it inside of this machine fairly legible for future work. And I appreciate it. Wire harness thingy down there. Whew, okay. Well, actually, let's see here. So these red, green, and black wires feed the power supply. They go into this unit. So, may not be able to get rid of quite as much of that as I thought. I'm debating, do I want to try to save the wire harnesses or do I want to make my life easier? The board might have value. You know what? Whoever gets the board next can build me wire harnesses if they like, or source them, because I just don't need to be dealing with all of that at the moment. And so, okay, this is the old video cable wires. That's the RGB and sync lines there. Oof. Okay. Well, the inside of this thing should be a lot cleaner looking once we've got Jammet installed and all this knocked out. So what's happening here, these wires are feeding this is going here, and it is also coming to these three wires, and these three wires fed the board. So power is coming here, going into this setup, and then coming out here for the board. So I should be able to clip those and then put some wire nuts on them. Yeah. careful before I clip any wires that are related to power. But we know we definitely don't need these at this point. But I'm just going to tuck them behind the board for now so that we can deal with them in the future. So if that's the case, they're feeding the power supply, but then I also have to here and smaller wires that are running into these connectors, trying to determine if there's any connection from what's over here to what is resting in the bottom of the cabinet. I don't believe that there is. So just in terms of how the cabinet is set up, all of this stuff, as far as I understand, is for two things. First, it is the, what do they call it? Isolation transformer. This is required to clean up the power that goes to the monitor, is my understanding. And then also there's this part here that supplies power to the bill acceptor. It's just got generic 3-prong plugs on it, so you can really use it to power anything inside the cabinet that just needs line voltage. But if I look, nothing that is connected to the board goes down to here. It all comes off, or it goes into to feed the power supply. Where does it? Confused. Oh, okay. So if we get up close look, each of these leads that goes into the power supply also has a jumper coming off of it. So they're like fused. So ground, AC are split. So I've got one set of blue, black, and white wires that go down here and come out of the wall plug. Makes sense? Ooh. Then they split off here. I'm going to take a little bit, put on my thinking cap, and come back to this. Alright, as you can see, I've gotten a lot of the wiring out of here, and basically, this board, this circuitry here, it comes in here, but it doesn't go anywhere at this point, because those wires are disconnected. So, I think that it should be safe to disconnect it. So, what I'm going to do is remove the leads, try to get them out of the board a little bit, because these power leads here are serving double duty, and it would be, so in order to pull everything on the board, all that circuitry out, we need to undo the soldering here on these screw connectors to be able to remove this batch of wires and leave just the original batch of wires. So, And a smaller Phillips head driver. Let me get my short stubby, might be better for this scenario. These screws are old and fighting me. Oh, did these go all the way around the screw? Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, how weird. It's like a half circle. So that's just a broken connector at the end of the day. But there we go. Got it moving. So we've got on the next one. Another one. Maybe that's how they used to do them. Today they're usually more of a C shape or a horseshoe. But yeah, all of these are that style. And so if we look at these wires, what we've got is one half is going over here to this circuitry. I'm not sure of the purpose. The other half is coming down here and going over to this power distribution circuitry. So should be able to, debating if I want to solder. I actually think it might make more sense to just clip these and wire cap them. Just put some wire nuts on there, because getting the soldering kit in here and old solder and all that, it's probably going to be a real pain in the butt. So we'll do that in a sec. Alright, as you can see, we've clipped these 3 wires and going to just cap off the ends just to be sure we don't have any voltages going where they're not supposed to. Alright. Now to get this rewired. Alright, so now we're just getting these power wires reconnected to the power supply. I have to go back to the video for a minute just to remember the correct ordering for these. Green and black and white. Tricky to get these half circle ones kind of back around. So I do think I need to take this screw back out. And then place it in. And just kind of hand feed the screw like that. Let's go. Luckily, we've got a brand new wall line. Just make sure these guys are going. Now that we've got a brand new wall line, we should be good. So let's fire this up and make sure it explodes. The tube come on. The box looks like it's on. Alright, looking pretty good. Alright, next up is just to mount the board. It's got 2 screw holes. And the big decision I need to make is kind of how I want to mount it. It's got this section with the joint pins, and then it's also got this section which has the volume control and the system button or settings button. And so I need to be able to, the settings button really lets you do configuration, modify the gain list, etc. So I'm thinking I want to mount it like this, so that I have access to volume and settings and a USB port without too much difficulty. So I've got these kind of really tiny wood screws that I don't think are going to fit. But, let's see. Let's see if I drop one in here, what does it look like? Pop it through and see if it seems to stick far enough to hold this thing in place. But it is giving me some trouble. Yep, that does not go through far enough. So let me look at what I've got from removing the other board. Because I do have these screws. That one's a little too long. What about this one? Oh yeah, that one's going to be just about perfect. So, a little bit of reduce, reuse, recycle going on, and just pop it in using the older screws. But that looks pretty darn good. So I think what I'm going to do is take the rest of the German wiring and just kind of tuck it over here for now, and then the cabinet can get closed up, and for now will be functional with the game controller. We can move on to the next project. Alright, y'all, as you can see, I have pulled the control panel off of the Rygar and found some interesting things. So, looking at the bottom of this control panel, I've been debating, do I want to build a brand new control panel or try to salvage this? And I kind of thought this wasn't going to really be salvageable because this part here is metal. And so I'm not really confident in my ability to add holes to it or anything like that. But in taking this off, I had thought this was built for the video poker for the Dodge City. But actually, when I'm seeing this, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 mounting holes that sure look like they are intended for a joystick. The other thing I notice is along this edge here, this looks like the original vinyl overlay for LiGAR. So on top, we have this acrylic piece here, but it looks like if I remove the bolts, this acrylic piece may just come right off. But in order to remove the bolts and take it off, I also have to remove the buttons. So in thinking about how I want to do this, I think that the main LiGAR controls look easy. Joystick goes here. Get rid of whatever button this is. Attack and jump. And then we have 4 buttons here. And what I'm thinking is that any of those buttons that I don't need, we can try to like fill in those holes with Bondo and then probably put a new vinyl for LiGAR over the top. But I think this button has to go because it runs into where the joystick mounts. But I think you could easily do joystick, attack, jump, and then down here, I haven't figured out how to get these off yet. These look like a completely different beast, but these look like filler buttons of some sort that might have been player 1 and player 2 start buttons. So we're going to have player 1 and player 2 start buttons down on the bottom, our main controls, and then we might be able to salvage like one of these for like a coin button to be able to coin the machine up. So that's really interesting. So basically what I'm doing to try to get these off is, I don't know if you can see it well, but there's some glue here. So these nuts hold the buttons down, and somebody had the genius idea to glue them down. So it's not a super firm glue, it's pretty tacky. So I'm just kind of coming through here with the X-Acto knife and cutting into it, and then we're just scraping with the screwdriver. And it's taking a bit of force, but you can see it's coming up. And once we get, it looks like there's kind of one blob of whatever kind of glue this is per button. And then once we get it up, and then, oh, jeez Louise. This is pain in the butt. There we go. This should be able to move. Gotta hold the square face of the button. There we go. Once we get it moving, it's pretty straightforward to get it all the way off. And there's this little ring that's sitting there. Put that together, and we got a button. And these are these cool kind of lit square buttons that were on the video poker. And so I honestly might, so generally the way these work, right, this red part is clear, and it can, here, let's see if I can take this one apart real quick. Yep, there we go. And so it just kind of comes out of this housing, and then we see there's this white part of the plunger, and then this red piece is clear. And usually under here, they would use like a label maker or something to add the text. And so we should be able to pop this clear part off and put like a small piece of paper with words printed on it in there to change what it says. So, in the spirit of trying to keep things mostly original, I'm thinking that these obviously are not going to make good gameplay buttons, but they could make perfectly adequate coin buttons, right? Put a new piece of paper up that says coin, and we're good to go. So yeah, I'm going to continue this process and see what we get. Alright, got all the buttons off. I've unbolted the acrylic layer. So take off this piece of wood, and then see if we can get this acrylic off. That is a bummer. I really thought this acrylic was just going to come right off. It does not seem to want to. There really isn't anything continuing to hold it on. It just needs a little smack. That stinks. I guess they must have glued it down. Well, you should still be able to run the vinyl over top of this surface once we get it cleaned up, any rough edges taken care of. Probably need to bond everything that crack to make sure it runs pretty smoothly. Yeah, but I still think this is going to be a usable, well, it could be a usable control panel. The only problem left is the fact that those bolt holes for the joystick are covered up, and so we've got to figure out a way to either extend those through or to get this piece off. Well, I think I'm going to see what a hammer and a screwdriver can do about seeing if we can pry this thing off. Sure enough, a couple of smacks from the hammer got that acrylic piece to pop right off. So there we've got our bolt holes for a joystick. So I think we're going to be in pretty good shape. I was really worried about the angle and getting that correct on the wood. So not having to build my own is going to be super nice. So now all I got to do is get parts, get some Bondo, kind of clean this stuff up, get a control panel overlay that'll cover up all the Bondo and whatever else I have to do to get it going, and then I'll be good. Looking from this angle, I'm thinking controller definitely goes here, this definitely gets Bondoed in, attack and jump go here, these get Bondoed in, and then these two top ones would be player 1 and player 2 start. And then around here, we've got these kind of stuck button looking things on the front of the panel. If I can get those off, that will be where coin buttons go. Yeah, I think this is actually going to work out pretty well. So I've done some experimenting, and I have come up with a process to turn these old poker buttons into coin buttons. Printed out a bunch of copies of this line art picture of a quarter, and it's just about the right size to fit into the button. So, with these buttons, we've got this, that's a bad example, that one, spring fill up. Let's use this one. So we've got these two tabs, and if we just kind of squeeze them and push the button forward, the button pops out along with the spring, and then you can see the white and red. Just get a little screwdriver, tiny screwdriver, and just kind of come in here. Oh, almost had it. Just go around the edge. And pop this off. Now behind the button is this little red square, and you can see here it's got these little pieces of tape that say discard, recall, poker stuff. But I found they're not on there all that firmly. So basically, you just take this picture of the quarter. Use the square to help trim it down to about the right size, and pop the square back in with the piece of paper, and pop it back on the button. And then we got to take the spring. This part's a little tricky. You gotta like hold the spring a little while we load this back into the button, and with those two white clips to kind of pop through the end there. Then we can take this switch and light bulb. This is what was originally on the machine, and what we want to make sure is, you can see here, the switch should sit right under one of those feet, and then you just kind of squeeze, and just clicks into place. And so now all we need to do is go back to our machine, and we need to connect the button, and we need to connect power to the lights. After, I forgot the most important part. After we put it in the control panel. As you can see, we've got a couple of buttons in place here. We don't have any switches in because I haven't done the wiring portion of these yet. But before I do that, the next job that we need to tackle here is mounting our joystick. I thought I'd show this because usually mounting a joystick is a little bit of a pain in the butt and kind of interesting. So, first thing, I've never mounted one to metal, but my understanding is that these machine screws, they're number 10-24. My understanding of screws isn't that great, but basically, the way I understand it, the number 10 is about the diameter of the screw, and then 24 has to do with how they are threaded. But I was told that these 1024s should fit pretty well. 1024 1 inch long is what I'm using, and so far they seem to be doing pretty good. Now the tricky part here is going to be the dust washer. So a lot of machines that I've seen have the dust washer installed incorrectly. Crud. Alright, let's start with the back ones. That would make more sense. So the dust washer is actually supposed to go on this back side of the cabinet, and I guess a lot of people who do it riding on top, just because it's easier, but even though these are really not great components, these are cheap Chinese components just because I want to get this thing playable. So that's what I'm going with for the moment. Actually, let me get these bolts out of here and just focus right now on getting the I think I lost. Oh, there we go. I'm getting the joystick in. So the joystick has these two parts here. This bottom part, when you insert the joystick, this bottom part is what actually makes contact with the switches. And so what we need to do is the top of this joystick is bigger than the hole. And so we need to get it through here. And then get this in place. Yeah, and then we have this pain butt little clip. And so basically, get this into a place where I can push down, because there's a spring in there. And then, oh wow, that was never going that easily for me. All right. So now we're going to be able to take our bolts and run them through like this, and I'm probably going to put a washer. Let's see. Got to open up the bags from Home Depot. Use the craft knife to get these nice and open. Alright. This one's got the nuts. I think by the time you get one of these in, it's going to make it quite a bit easier. So this horizontal orientation is probably going to help. But I'm basically just going to slip the washer. So this is rectangular, not square. So you do have to be careful which way you align it to ensure that all the holes line up nicely. And I need my ratchet. did get ones with screwdriver holes in the front. It's not really true to arcades, but I find that they're a lot easier to work with because I can take my Phillips head here and use it to hold the bolt from the other side. I think I have my ratchet going the wrong direction. There we go. What the heck? The ratchet's definitely that feels like I'm getting a bit more tension. Alright, now we're making some progress. Don't want to tighten it all the way just yet, because we want to make sure that we've got a little bit of wiggle room to get the other bolts aligned. So usually I try to get most of them like 90% really tightened, and then come back after the fact and finish tightening them all the way. Honestly, it's kind of nice to have these Phillips heads because sometimes it's easier to just turn it from the screw side. Yeah, a little bit faster than using ratchet. Okay. 2 more to go. The screws came in a pack of 6. The washers came in a pack of 6. And the nuts came in packs of 2. So, gotta open the new package of nuts halfway through. Okay. Now we're starting to tighten these because we've got 3 of the 4 in. Which means that last one's basically got no choice but to be properly aligned. will go on. Almost there. There we go. All right. So next is to wire this up. So the only thing you'll notice is that each of these switches is essentially the same, and the switches for the buttons are basically all the same. This is always going to be black common ground wire, and this is always going to be the silver wire. Occasionally they have three, but I've only ever used these two. The only other thing to remember when wiring, I'm probably not going to be able to show the wiring process, I think it's going to be too difficult to get the camera in there, but the key to remember is when I push the joystick down, this switch gets contacted. When I push the joystick right, this switch gets contacted. So everything is backwards when you're wiring it, because you've got this piece here is the inflection point that's going around and touching. So it's always opposite to the way you push it is where the switch lies. The buttons are the buttons. So as a reminder, we're going to fill in these three holes. I've been going around with some people online, talking about different options for kind of filling in the gaps. Metal control panels, super fun. But the way I'm going to wire this is player 1, start, player 2 start, button 1, button 2, joystick, coin 1, and coin 2. Alright, we'll take a look after it's all wired. Alright, as you can see, we've got everything all wired up and looking good. So now for the moment of truth. Alright, so let's boot her up. One thing you'll notice is I do have the sound turned off. It's super loud, even with the sound kind of on its lowest setting. And so I just figured I'd leave it off for the video. One thing I've been considering is that I might put my own volume pot in line with the speaker. I'll cover that in the video if I end up doing that. That way I can get the lowest volume down to something a little bit more reasonable and not have to rely on the Pandora's box wonky controls. So we're booting. We've got our coin buttons here. And I've configured the Pandora's box to boot right into Rygar. So now, should be able to coin it up. Very nice. Player 1 start. Let's see how I can do with one hand. Alright, skip the intro. I can move. Yeah, one-handed Rygar is, regular Rygar is hard. One-handed Rygar, super hard. But as you can see, let's test out the jump. Yep, can jump. And can move. And then, that's about it. So, I think next steps are going to be, I'm still deciding. Might center strip the side, I work on filling these buttonholes. It's really going to be a matter of materials and time and kind of my preference of what I get to first. Also want to put a light up in the marquee and get a Rygar marquee. And then the other thing is I did take the bill acceptor out of this coin door. Now it's got a giant hole in it. So probably going to be replacing the coin door at some point. But it's not perfect. The controls are cheap. The board running it is cheap. But it's a running Rygar cabinet, just like it was 20-30 years ago. So it's a pretty good place to be at for now. And this was kind of my big driver. I really wanted to get to this point, and then from there we can do little things. I'd like to update the team loading. I'd like to get the graphic overlays. This control panel, I got to figure out how I'm going to clean it up. I'll probably do the best that I can, and then look into maybe sandblasting, since it is a solid hunk of steel. But so what did I learn? Well, for starters, a hammer and a screwdriver is a powerful combination for getting things unstuck. Also, learned not to give up on the original pieces. Obviously, we took some time and got the acrylic off, and the original control deck is perfectly fine. Also, reusing weird parts can look pretty cool. I like the way those video poker buttons work as coin buttons. And finally, I've just been learning this whole process. Just take my time. Because the slower I go, the more I'm able to salvage, and the more that I'm able to get kind of really unique, interesting machine out of this at the end of the day.
Hope you guys liked the video. Definitely subscribe. Leave your comments. Let me know what you think I should tackle next. Because like I said, this was really the point that I wanted to run to. And from here, it's a little more open as to what I want to do and kind of the order of operations. Alright, see you on the next video.